Hello, it's Genesis here, my preservation Evoker. It's been a while since I've done a upload, and I thought I would commentate one of my more recent runs this week. Just been a bit busy with work and family. A couple of days ago I managed to do a 22 Jade. In the group conf we have a warrior tank, a demon hunter, a boomkin, and a shadow priest. And one thing I will say straight off the bat is that the composition for this dungeon is very important, especially as an evoker. I find that you really require help with decursing, so we got the boomkin for that. There is the mistweavers in the trash, and they apply a very nasty curse on high keys. They do a lot of damage and put a big healing absorb on a target. Someone decursing, helping with that would really help because our decurse is a minute cooldown. The other thing that really helps is having a Shadow Priest or a Warlock for the extra dispels on the last boss. And it just so happens that we have a Demon Hunter which applies the extra magic damage, which goes really well with these other two DPS. It's a really decent comp here. I've been failing 21 and above temples on Fortified for a few weeks now. It's a really tough one for me, but this run went really well. So here we go. Got a few ideas I'll be going over throughout the dungeon, just showing you my thought process with healing. One of them is keeping reversion up on all targets. There's a couple of reasons for that, I'll go over in a moment. It's really quite important to last on this first ball. It's really nasty with the water speaker and the water elemental. There I had to rewind as the O-shit button because I wasn't quite prepared for all that damage. I think you could see my healing there peaked over 120k HPS. Yeah, and then from here it's pretty manageable. You just want to lost this, what's it called? The Tainted Ripple, if you can. And generally your group will do it as well, if they're paying attention. It really reduces a lot of the damage. Otherwise you'd just be healing like a psycho the whole time. Anyway, so reversion. You want reversion on all targets, because it increases the healing taken by each target by 10%, I believe. And the other thing that's good is every time reversion ticks healing, it does, it procs our foreset. And foreset increases the damage or healing of our living flame by 20% and makes it instant. So keeping reversion on all targets is very nice if you can. Let's see what else. The other thing I like to do is if reversion is on all targets and there's consistent damage coming out to the party, a dream breath goes really well. Just maximum dream breath hot, so it'd be 1 empowered level. And we always want to dream breath after verdant embrace, because there's a talent called Ysera's Dream, I think, that increases the healing of our next dream breath by 40%. So we should always be verdant embracing before dream breath. It's quite important. Even if it's not a valuable verdant embrace, you just want to proc that 40% bonus for dream breath. Another bonus you can do with the dream breath is temporal anomaly. So that applies a cheap echo to every target hit by it. It's quite easy to hit all targets in the dungeon. It's got a very wide hitbox, much wider than the visual. And dream breathing with echo will put a very big dream breath if you do the verdant embrace, and another dream breath for about, I think it's 30% with a cheap echo. And then that with reversion on everyone is another 10%. So it's just big maintenance seals. Try to keep them both up as much as I can throughout the dungeon. keep everyone nice and topped up. The other thing I forgot to mention is uh, to keep reversion on all targets, you want to use temporal anomaly as well. I wouldn't generally waste echoes because you mostly just want the proc and the buff from the healing, so you don't need to waste your nice echoes for the 100% reversion heals. This boss is not too bad on higher keys. I think after like 17 things, the water lance is always going to one-shot you, and the water spout is always going to one-shot you as well. It's a bit trickier with Quaking. Gotta make sure you spread out if you can. And then here, I'm just trying to keep reversion on all targets. Do as much damage as I can. Something I've been trying to work on a lot lately. It's one of my weaknesses. Oh. Wonder what happened there. I think Hydro Lance got paired with the corrupted geezer. That's one thing that sucks on high keys. Oh, although he just got straight up hit by the geezer. I think that's how you say it. Ah, no, it's a corrupted vortex. So the priest died before. I think what can happen on higher keys is the proc from the vortex can be paired with the Hydro Lance if you're so unlucky and it doesn't get kicked. So that combo will one-shot a party member. And then the priest died a second time from the geezer. I was gonna call it geezer, from the geezers. The big water spouts. Hit very hard on higher keys. Bosses feel pretty free on Fortified weeks. I find Fortified a lot easier than Tyrannical. I think I've done pretty much all 22s on Fortified now, and I'm still struggling to get all 22s on Tyrannical. I just find some of the bosses very challenging, particularly as a healer. Invis-pot these pandas, pretty typical strat. These pandas suck on Fortified. The dot is unbearably difficult to heal. I suppose with the Master Spell it wouldn't be too bad. So we wanna... I guess another thing is, oh yes, I'm actually gonna rewind it here. Because I learnt something the hard way on a 21 earlier that day. These Shas, when they die, as I'm sure you know, they hit everyone in the group with AoE. When they're enraged, they do 50% extra damage. And in a 21 earlier in the day, I did not dispel. I wasn't even really looking out for it actually, I just Zephyr'd. So Zephyr reduces the damage of yourself and your group by 20%. And I thought that would be enough mitigation to get through the trash bag. But I ended up dying in 0.3 seconds when every Sha died at the same time with Enrage. I was hit for 70k each time. I think there's 5 or 6 there, maybe 5. Excuse me. Hitting me for a total of 350k on a 21. So one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have oppressing roar this week. For those that don't know, if you talent into it, oppressing roar is a conal ability. It will remove 1 enrage for every target hit. It's generally a 2-minute cooldown. The other neat thing is that if you remove an enrage, it reduces the cooldown of the roar by 20 seconds. So if you manage to hit 6 targets and remove 6 enrages, it will instantly reset the cooldown. And you generally want to do 4 or 5. Yeah, so you can use it every trash pack. And it's absolutely essential that you use it on these Shas before they die. You get a very small window. As you can see, the group is absolutely destroying these Shas. So you get a half a second or 1 second window to hit it. I'll just play it in slow. Yeah, let's see. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Just before they die. And look, 2 of us still nearly instantly die, even with it. Anyway, that's very important. Haunting needs to be interrupted, sleep needs to be interrupted, or dispelled if it goes off. You can see here my oppressing raw is back off cooldown because I managed to hit 5 targets and remove 5 enrages. So here I'm watching out for it again. Here, let's see. There we go. Boom. 4 enrages removed. Oh, it's 5 actually. Ah yes, must have hit the haunting as well. And again, just keeping reversion on all targets. People get low, good emergency healers, multi-echo, verdant embrace. Multi-echo, verdant embrace is a really nice burst heal we have. If you get desperate, we got tip the scales for instant spirit bloom. Paired with cheap echo, applied from temporal anomaly. Really nice burst heal. It's really important we manage our cooldowns well as a provoker. And as you can see, after my verdant embrace, I'm always dream breathing. Not always with cheap echo. I mean, that's a nice bonus, but just want to keep reversion on all targets and a buffed dream breath. 1 empowered. I think I got hit by Swelly there. It's my mistake. Damage isn't too great this run. Because I feel like I'm panic healing a lot of the dungeon. I do that with keys I'm not super comfortable with, and especially when I'm pushing keys. I haven't had done 22 temple before. Hadn't even done 21 fortified actually. I went from 20 to 22 in this dungeon. Here I'm just asking the tank if he wants Lust used on cooldown, or if he wants it on the next set of ads, which are pretty rough.
Let me shed some light. As the tale goes, the young Gaul was traveling across the Kunlai plains when suddenly he was ambushed.
A quick drink.
For the ancients!
There we go. This boss is pretty easy. It used to be harder in the first few weeks before they nerfed it drastically. It used to require a lot of HPS. And then I think they reduced the damage of the party ticking damage by like 30% I think it was, maybe more, I'm not too sure. In like week 5 or 6 or something. But here, just making sure, as per usual, all targets have reversion. Alternating between Dream Breath and Spirit Plume. And just keeping an eye on that dot, making sure it doesn't get too high. Ooh, it really starts to tick hard, 10, 15, 20 stacks. If I feel like I can heal it, I'll leave the DPS to it. But if I start to feel like they're about to die, I'll just go stand on them and acquire the debuff, the Kiss Curse, which means if you walk on the target, the debuff will transfer to you. That was done really well by the group. It's always nice when one of them doesn't invulnerable at the end.
Strife feeds on conflict. When you have peace in
Yep,
your heart,
they saw my hover got caught on the geometry of the floor. Happens all the time in this dungeon, it's quite frustrating. Use that dreaded curse, gets dispelled by the druid. Kinda just keep mine in emergency if the druid's not paying attention. Another thing here with the infester. So the infester will spawn Sha. Because they're spawned mobs, the dungeon affixes don't apply to them. So they do not need to be soothed. They do not need to be oppressing roared. You just need to heal the crap out of your group, they die. Or just stagger their deaths. I think that's what you have to do without soothe, honestly. I don't see how other healers are dealing with that. Be a very tough thing to manage in pugs. Also, I'm an OCE player as well, from Oceania, Australia. So in this group's primarily American. I think I'm getting 200 ping. I'm kind of used to it though. Yeah, just gotta watch the swellies on the ground. Another thing I'm not doing very well this dungeon is helping out with tail sweep, which is the knock up and the knockback for interrupts. But I guess I'm just paying attention and keeping everyone alive. On the more chill dungeons, I think I did a 22 Shadow Moon the other day. I can generally hit 30k DPS overall. But dungeons like this, I really like to prioritize the healing. Maybe in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks I'll feel more comfortable with this dungeon. I just failed so many Temple of the Jade Serpents last few weeks. It's really tough on a pug it seems on Fortified. This room especially, things always seem to go wrong. If you pull 2 groups it's over. And sometimes the tanks just instantly die to the male monks. I can't remember the name of the mob. There we go, saw the pressing roar, get rid of all the enrages on the Sha. Here we go to this side of the room to pull a group, because we skipped the pandas and we need these 2 for extra percent. The guardians, those are the ones that can nearly one-shot the tank. Unless your tank's a warrior. Warriors have fantastic mitigation. There's a curse, just watching if it gets dispelled. These trees are very bloody annoying. Can't see anything. Got time dilation on the tank there. I think I time dilated because the guardian enraged. Just being cautious. Oh, there we go. Tank instantly dies. Forgot about this. See how quickly it goes pear-shaped with those trash. Wasn't even that big of a pool. Just got obliterated. I was looking at something there on details and got interrupted with my resurrect. That's right. The infestors. Mainly just want to make sure you dodge the breath. And pay attention to where the shards die. That's all there is to it. When you have lots of other trash, it can be difficult to keep an eye on the direction of the flame. But instantly kills on these keys. It's definitely gonna be situationally aware. guess some other things I'm doing. So as opposed to the reversion and keeping Dream Breath up, I'm spot healing. So that is when people take chunks of damage on an individual basis. I'm often spot healing with Echo, Verdant Embrace, Echo, Living Flame, especially the instant Living Flames. It's a really nice thing about Evoker 4 set. You basically get a new ability, it feels like, with those instant Living Flames. They're very strong single target spot healing spells that help top up a injured ally for when the Dream Breath or Reversion isn't enough and you don't want them to get one shot from another mechanic.
Your forces are weak. The heart of the great serpent will not fall into your hands.
So for this boss, there's 3 phases. The first phase, the boss will apply a pretty chunky magic dot to your tank. Our warrior tank reflected the first one. So you gotta pay attention to that second one, make sure you dispel it. The sooner the better. And then you gotta dodge these crossroad attacks, the serpent kick. Always, and don't stand in the circle too. And then for phase 2, which goes now at 70%, this is a tank buster phase. She absolutely destroys your tank with a very nasty dot and a healing absorb that is larger than their maximum health generally. I think it's around 500k-ish on a 22 anyway, Fortified. So we basically just want to have a big single target heal ready. There's a few tools we have as a provoker. The first one I'll generally echo into Spirit Bloom, just one level Spirit Bloom. Another one you can do is echo Verdant Embrace. Just beware, Verdant Embracing to the tank during the kick can be quite dangerous, so you can just Verdant Embrace yourself, get Life Bind on yourself and the target. Life Bind, if you didn't know, is a talent that causes targets hit by Verdant Embrace, also echoed Verdant Embraces, that replicates 40% of healing between the healer and the target. And that interaction goes very well with Emerald Blossom, which I would have used to top up the tank there after one of the Jade Serpent strikes. But it's also just nice bonus healing as well. Any healing on you replicates healing on the target, life minded target by 40%, and any healing on them replicates on you. Here we go, the dreaded last room. So here's a few things. Mistweavers, Defiling Mist needs to be kicked. Can't be hit by leg sweep from the Guardian. Tidal Burst needs to be interrupted from the Water Speaker. And the Curse needs to be dispelled from the Mistweaver. Thankfully the Druids have been doing a very good job staying on top of that. If Tidal Burst goes off with Enrage, everyone will instantly die except for maybe the tank. Defiling Mist is just a massive single target ability. I guess while I'm doing this trash, I can talk a little bit about damage optimization. I have a few interesting interactions as an Evoker. With our Flame Breath, for every level we empower it, our next leveling flame will hit an extra target. That could be healing, so if you have a party member targeted, it will do the extra living flames on other party members. But it's generally better as an offensive, utilizing it offensively. So if you target one target, it will hit the target and up to 5 other targets, I believe, with a living flame each. There's a few other interactions there to maximize the damage from that big chunk of burst. There's Scarlet Adaptation, I think it's called, where we store our healing as extra damage on our next living flame. And really I should probably have a weak aura that tracks that, but I generally have a pretty good feel for when it's kept out. And you want to make sure it's kept out when you go to use that living flame after after fire breath, sorry. And then the last thing is you also, for an extra 20% damage, we can use it with the instant living flame cast, which gets procced by reversion. So all those three things together, and you'll do 5 living flames if it crits up to like 160, 170k each, for about 1 million damage if you do it all well, up to 1 million. And then the flame breath, it's about the same amount of damage, probably more with the dot. So we got really nice DPS there that we can use pretty much on each trash pack. Here at Emerald Communion, multi-echo Emerald Communion, because I felt like we were gonna die. And yeah, I'm probably repeating myself a bit too much, but yeah, just a thought process with the healing. Keep reversion on all targets. Keep max hot dream breath on all targets after burden embracing. Spot heal with instant living flames. Spirit bloom with tip the scales if you have it as emergency for big burst group heals. That paired with echo is very nice too. And yeah, we're kind of just alternating between Spirit Bloom and Dream Breath for our group heals. Echo's a nice thing I like to apply to injured targets. And then Verdant Embrace, another injured target to top everyone up. Here I ask the priest to mass dispel the first slot of Touch of Nothingness. So here, pretty simple boss, but well, simple in theory, but in practice is a lot of things that can go wrong. These figments are one of them. Kind of need to kite them on higher keys, I think. I noticed that died quite quickly. Another thing I've noticed watching my replays, you always notice a lot of mistakes when you watch your replays. And one thing I don't do enough is use my defensives. I should definitely be using it when the ads spawn in this boss. But the Touch of Nothingness, every second one we're going to have to manage ourselves if you don't have a priest or a warlock. Or priest can dispel 2 every second round. But what we want to do as soon as it comes out, we want to dispel one of them instantly. You want everyone to be spreading out, which everyone seems to know in this particular key. Because the dot will tick on you and everyone around you. You can see that circle there. So you dispel one, and then you heal the crap out of the other target while your dispel comes off cooldown. And then once your dispel's off cooldown, you dispel that target. With a priest will mass dispel, removing the dot from 2 targets every second round. With a warlock, they have a dispel every 20 seconds, I believe, from the imp. So every round they'll be able to help you with a dispel. You dispel one, and the warlock dispels the other. So dispel. Kill the crap out of the priest. I'm a bit late there. And then dispel when it's off cooldown. Not too bad a fight. With Quaking kind of sucks because you want to stack for the mobs. And I'm tyrannical, I can feel like it gets a bit hectic. Fight just lasts for so long. I've actually oomed on this fight. I think the first time I ever oomed in a dungeon was on this boss fight. I think getting a lot better now. Always improving. I still feel like I've got heaps to improve on. if you liked this commentary, let me know in the comments below. Because of my infrequent ability to upload these days, I'll probably be uploading 1 or 2 a week. I probably have the time to commentate my videos now. So if you prefer this style, let me know in the comments, and I'll make an effort to do so with every upload. And if you have any feedback or any questions about the run, or if there's anything else you want me to commentate on in the future, something to focus on while I'm doing the commentary, just let me know. Thank you for watching.